everyone, it's Allison with Bloom Culture, and in today's tutorial we're going to talk about a ceremony piece that can be repurposed to your reception. Now, a lot of people think of ceremony pieces as a tall urn, something that is just gargantuan in size. I have seen lately more of a lower profile, but that doesn't mean that we can't have a very large and expressive arrangement. So today we're going to focus on, like I said, a lower profile, a vase or a vessel that's a little bit shorter and wider. I've seen a lot of florists and designers use these on stands, use these as anchor arrangements for the aisle or the arbor. You can repurpose them for a welcome table, for a statement piece at the head table or a sweetheart table. Really, the world is your oyster. Just promise me that wherever you use these in your ceremony, that you will use them in your reception. This design is going to be more floral heavy. A lot of our other designs have a lot of greenery. We're still going to have some greenery in this, maybe for more expressive moments. We'll definitely use greenery to cover the back of the arrangement. With statement pieces, I usually front load them, which means everything's facing towards your audience. And the back really just doesn't really matter since it's kind of a one-sided arrangement. So again, in this one, we're going to focus on more of a floral heavy design, but it won't be lacking in greenery. It's just not going to be as expressive or as expressed throughout the design. I wanted to add that in today's tutorial, we are using floral foam, but if you want to focus on a more sustainable option, you can use floral mesh. A lot of people think it's chicken wire, but it's not. Floral mesh is used specifically for floral design, and it has a coating on the outside that doesn't rust in water. Or you can always go with something like agro wool or the ocean pouch. Before we get started, whenever I use hydrangeas, especially in floral foam, I like to dip the stem in something called alum. You can get this at any grocery store, online. It's really easy to get a hold of, and it helps keep the blooms fresher longer, especially when you use hydrangeas in the floral foam. For this arrangement, we're going to start with hydrangea. The reason why I'm starting with hydrangea is because they are big focal flowers. They cover a lot of surface area, and I feel like in this design I want to do a little bit of blocking, which means typically you hear me talk about color blocking. Today we have a white and green palette, so we're going to do more of a floral block. We're going to focus on grouping different varieties of flowers and focus on massing and having a design that is expressive but also detailed in the sense that like you can kind of move your eye through the arrangement and you'll pick up on different groupings of flowers. With hydrangea, as always, you want to clean off the stems. If you want to leave a little bit of the greenery at the top, that's okay. If you don't, that's okay as well. So getting started, like I said, I'm going to block these hydrangeas. I'm going to start focusing the arrangement in my front left corner. You'll want to start a little bit lower, so I always cut at an angle. Let's do a quick dip in the alum. And then I'm going to insert always at an angle right into the floral foam right there. I always like to cover my mechanics, meaning I like to make sure all of the floral foam is covered, but also the edges. It just makes your arrangement look a little bit more professional. With this second hydrangea, again, sometimes that'll happen. I don't want to just create a spherical bunch. You always want to create a little bit of depth in your arrangement. So I'm not going to cut this one as short as the first one. I'm going to dip this in some alum, and I'm going to come right above that one right there. Again, this is going to be a statement arrangement, so try not to keep everything really tight and in a sphere. You want it to reach and create length so that you can have a big scaled arrangement. When little things like this break off, don't worry, just treat it as a mini hydrangea. I'll dip it right here and then really just tuck it in, maybe the front. And it's kind of cute down there. And then for our final hydrangea, clean off all the stems. And I think what I'm gonna do is give it a little bit more height back here so we kind of have a crescent shape. I'm gonna cut this stem a lot longer dip it in our alum. Give that an insert right there. Okay, the next flower we are going to be working with is our stalk. This is a linear bloom that I like to work with. Sometimes the bottom blooms of the stalk get chewy, they get kind of bruised and brown. That doesn't mean that the stem is unusable, it just means that you need to give it a little bit of a cleanup. So I typically do that, make sure that those blooms are taken care of. Even if it's just a little small head of the bloom, it's still usable. Okay, so with working with the stalk, I am going to, like I said, lean into our grouped design, and I am going to fill in some of the space on this side of the arrangement. Remember, when you're working with your linear blooms, you're going to want to try to place your longest stem first, and then the subsequent stems after that, you're going to want to cut shorter so that you can connect it back to the rest of the design. You don't want stems that are just too long or just sticking out that don't really have any relationship to the design. Always angle whenever you're inserting the blooms. So like I'm going to insert this one here. Again, it's not as long as the first stem that I placed. I might even come in behind here and make this one my longer stem. Actually, I think that's what I'm going to do. And again, if you don't like the placement, you can always move it. All right, I'm going to turn this around and give it a look. I think this one needs to be right here. Take one more look. Okay, next we're going to use Lisianthus. This is a spray flower, which means it has multiple blooms on one stem instead of one bloom on one stem. I like to clean these up, but I will leave some of the greenery towards the edge of the bloom just so that it won't feel too sparse. Some of them have a really great reach, but I think we're going to maybe tuck these in a little bit along, maybe making a line right here. Spray blooms, you're going to need to cut them down so that you can use them individually. So what I'm going to do is start inserting these guys along a path right here. Ooh, and these are really pretty. They have such a beautiful reach to them, but their individual stems are long enough, like I said, to cut them down. This one here. Maybe this one is a little bit shorter and kind of coming out. Working with spray blooms is really helpful too, because you get multiple blooms from one stem. So say if you get a 10 stem bunch, you don't just get 10 blooms, which is really awesome for arrangements to be able to extend the product and make the arrangements feel larger without using more product. Continue with our Lisianthus. Maybe a little bit short, give it some anchor, and kind of fill in some of these holes that I have here with the Lisianthus, again, to make this moment really impactful. Next, we're going to move on to roses. I have cleaned off all of the greenery and the guard petals on the roses. White blooms tend to bruise, so just be really careful when you're working with their blooms, and when you're taking off the guard petals, be sure not to touch the other petals too much because they have a tendency to turn brown or translucent, and it just cuts the vase life in half, which means their longevity and how long that they're going to look pretty will be cut short. So just be mindful when you're working with white blooms. Like I said, I'm going to start a little bit lower. One thing I want you to think about when you're designing your arrangement is which way the bloom faces. They don't all face up or look up, as I say. Sometimes they might have a little curvature to their stems. Sometimes they might look in a certain direction. So for example, if I was going to insert this bloom, it's not really doing much for the design because it's really looking away from the rest of the design. But if you rotate the the stem and you face the bloom towards the direction that you want it to look, the arrangement will feel more intentional and more professional. I think also with this arrangement, I need to match the width, and we might come out a little bit more with perhaps some really intentional greenery, but I do want to make sure that the width is matched. So I'm going to have a rose have a little bit of length on this side as well, and then we'll connect the rest of the blooms back into the design. Place this one right here. I think with this one, I'm going to tuck in a little bit. For it being a statement piece, I'm gonna go big. So I'm gonna insert this rose right here in the back to really create some of this balance right here, but we still have a little bit of asymmetry. So everything's not a dome, but it kind of peaks and has a valley and then another peak. I feel like this arrangement is really looking intentional. I love the floral blocking. Next, we're gonna move on to our spray roses. These are similar to the Lisianthus. They are a spray bloom, but the blooms are more clumped at the top, so they don't have some longer shoots on them. These I like to use similarly as hydrangeas, that they can be a place where I cover up mechanics, that I create a nice focal point. And then it wouldn't be a bloom culture tutorial without showing you that if somebody bends or snaps, it's not the end of the world. What you'll want to do is just snip it off and then put it in our cup or vase of water, and you can use the extras or snapped blooms. They don't go in the trash. You use them for smaller pieces like corsages and boutonnieres. So I say that in every tutorial, but it's so true. All the scraps, all of the broken stems or broken blooms can be used, so don't throw them away. What I'm going to do with these blooms is really tuck them down at the bottom and cover up some of my mechanics, cover some of the places down here that I just don't want you to see the edge of the vase. Another thing too, do not be afraid to have some of your blooms coming out. So if they're not all hitting on the same plane, if these are coming out a little bit, that's okay. You want a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. And pushing and pulling stems, meaning if you have some stems that are coming out closer, some that are a little bit more tucked in, that is what you want to make it look more professional and more designed. I am feeling really excited about this arrangement. We have our focal flowers for the hydrangeas. We've got the roses. I think that they are balancing each other, but they're not so symmetrical that they look boring. We've got our line flowers and we've got our spray flowers. So now I think it's time to move on to what I call our detail flowers. Those are flowers like the Ranunculus that we have over here and these beautiful, absolutely stunning Scabiosas that we have. I think what I've decided to do is, it feels pretty heavy on this side, so I think I'm gonna balance it with some Scabiosa over here. They have a pretty long stem length, so I'm just going to use that to my advantage. These, again, this one's facing up, this one's looking at you, so be mindful in your placement so that it makes sense in the arrangement. This one's looking this way, so I'm gonna place it looking this way. And then this one is also kind of looking that way, and I'm going to, again, not all together, to give it a little bit of space and depth from the other flowers, so it can fill space without feeling too compact or everybody feels crowded. And I think I'm going to do my final placement of the Scabiosa. I'm going to cut this one a little bit shorter, and then I'm going to come in right here, thread it through everything, and put it right down in there. Guys, I'm getting excited. This is looking really good, really pretty. Okay, for our final detail flower, I'm going to be using some Ranunculus. So ranunculus have a tendency to bloom quickly and their heads can get really heavy. So if you see some tape on here, it's just reinforcement so that the bloom doesn't overpower the stem and snap it. So we'll show you how to wire those and to tape those to strengthen them in a different, more dedicated tutorial. What I have noticed is that there's a little bit of a hole right here, and I think that putting this bloom right down in there would not only give it a moment to shine, just be a really pretty placement. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put that one right down in there too. I think that's really pretty. I encourage you to, before you place it, take a moment, say maybe do I want this one here? Before you place it, kind of move it around and see where it might look nice or where it might fit in. Just tuck this one right. I think that we are golden on the placement of the blooms. It's not an excessive amount to create a really pretty statement arrangement. One thing I want to do next is address the back. Since we are bloom heavy, I haven't used any greenery. I will start to use some to finish out the back. So next we're going to use what's called Salal. I like to break it down so it's not just a giant piece of greenery. And like I said before, I'm just going to kind of accent in the back. Again, this is going to be deep background. I don't really want people to notice it, but again, like I said, wanted to cover some of the mechanics in the back. I think it's okay to be intentional with maybe a few pieces here and there like this that may look really pretty reaching out here or over here in the arrangement. But again, as a background piece, not really a statement piece. In turning it around and looking at it, I want to take off these really big stems and cut it a lot shorter. And again, just have a little bit of background and add a little bit of depth to the arrangement, just so there's not so much dead space behind it. And I think I'll do that throughout the arrangement, but I really don't want this to look too greenery heavy. But I also don't want the back just to look completely open. Kind of covering up some mechanics here and there. And then maybe my last piece will be right there. Okay, and that is the design for our floral heavy ceremony arrangement. Again, I wouldn't use this design for a reception table outside of a sweetheart table or a head table that again is facing a certain direction. This isn't an arrangement that is designed to be viewed 360 again, because we've got our party in the front, business in the back situation. But I think that this is a gorgeous statement arrangement. Again, it can be a ground arrangement. You can place it on a stool, a stand, a chair, anything to elevate it, and then repurpose it at your reception. I hope you've enjoyed this design. I really loved doing it. It's something that's a little bit different than what we typically design. I love the floral blocking. I love the monochrome. You can do this in any color palette. There is no limit. If you wanted it to be bigger, if you wanted it to be smaller, all of the steps and processes would be the same. So if you have any questions or if you need anything, leave a comment below, or you can always email us. It's hello@bloomcultureflowers.com. Be sure to look through all of our collections. We've got an a la carte menu, so you can buy all your blooms from us as well. If you need a design, we offer free quotes. We also offer phone consultations. So if you are ready to get started on your DIY floral journey, we are here to help. Thanks so much.